We're good? All right, welcome to our regular board meeting of the Pontiac School District. Mr. Secretary, thank you for closing us out from closed session. We're going to take roll call for our regular meeting now.
Yes, sir. VP Bowman.
Present.
Trustee Kraft.
Present.
Treasurer Davis Smith.
Present.
President Garrett.
Present.
I'm here. Trustee Hannah.
Present.
And Trustee Terry.
Present.
Sorry, Frank. Sir, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you. We want to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're going to move down to the approval of the agenda. I have an amendment to the agenda. I want to remove from the agenda under Superintendent's Report, action item SFE contract renewal. I want to remove that from the agenda item and add to the agenda under regular working agenda, Board of Education discussing item, City of Pontiac MOU request. Need approval from the board.
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Bowman, supported by Trustee Davis Smith. Questions, comments, or concerns? And this is an amendment to the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Pardon.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Point of clarity.
Mhm.
The two letters of agreement, the PPIA and PEA, also need to be added.
Okay. We will. Because that termination that you just said, give me the acronyms again.
PPIA and PEA, letters of agreement.
Okay.
PPIA. PEA.
No, PPIE.
Thank you.
These, man,
PPIA.
PPIA
PEA.
and PEA, letter of agreement to go under the superintendent's report. Where's that going under?
That's fine, yeah.
Go under the superintendent's report for discussion and action item?
Correct.
Discussion in action. Got it.
Okay. All right, so for the amendment again is to amend the agenda, to remove from the agenda the SFE contract renewal, to add to the agenda under board discussion item, City of Pontiac MOU request, and then to add under the superintendent's report, the PPIA and PEA letter of agreement, discussion and action. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
You right-hand man.
Any change to the approval to that motion? No changes? So it was supported, it was offered by Trustee Bowman, supported by Trustee Davis Smith for the amendment. Questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Treasurer Davis Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Hannah.
Yes.
Trustee Terry.
Yes.
And VP Bowman.
Yes.
Sir, the agenda amendment passed 7-0.
All right, awesome. Need a motion on the floor to approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
So moved by
Support.
Trustee Hannah, supported by Trustee Davis Smith. Questions, comments, or concerns to approval of the amendment of the agenda? Hearing none, roll call.
Treasurer Davis Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Hannah.
Yes.
Trustee Terry.
Yes.
VP Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Sir, the approval of the amended agenda passed 7-0.
All right, awesome. Now that we have a regular working agenda, we're going to move down to the awards and recognition. Going to turn it over to the superintendent. It's going to be item 2A, Michigan Seal of Biliteracy Recipients Recognition. Superintendent, the meeting is yours.
Good evening, everyone. This is always an exciting time of our meeting where we recognize and celebrate students and highlight their successes throughout our district. I received on May 16th, 2023 from Michael F. Rice, Dr. Michael F. Rice, which is our state superintendent at the state level, congratulating our students. We are pleased to announce that you have met the criteria for receiving the Michigan Seal by Literacy in English and Spanish by demonstrating language proficiency at or above the intermediate high level of the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages Proficiency Guidelines. You join a growing group of peers around the state with a high level of language proficiency who are receiving the Michigan Seal by Literacy. We hope that this recognition of you and your accomplishment will add to positive evidence of your career and college readiness. The Michigan Seal of Biliteracy is a designation that can be highlighted on applications for jobs, college, or graduate school for a lifetime. Congratulations again on receiving this honor, and we look forward to many opportunities the Michigan Seal of Biliteracy may bring to you. This is huge because 33% of our student population are English language learners. We take pride in the Pontiac School District to ensure that our bilingual department and staff supports our English language learners. I celebrate and I salute the schools, high school, as well as our ITA program for enlisting and supporting our English language learners. I also celebrate our parents for ensuring that your students are coming to school to learn and to be successful in becoming proficient in English as well as in Spanish. With that, the Board of Education and administration would like to provide you a certificate of honor. We're going to read one certificate, and then we will have Dr. Alicia come up to read the names, as well as I will read the certificate they will receive from the Michigan Department of Education. Certificate of Distinction. This certificate is proudly presented to Maria Alvarez in recognition of their success during the first year that the Pontiac School District has participated in the Michigan Seal of Biliteracy program. We are very proud that they received this special recognition for their language skills, given this 5th day of June 2023 in Pontiac, Michigan, signed by Superintendent Kelly Williams and President Gil Garrett. I will now read the Michigan Department of Ed certificate, and then Dr. Alicia will come up and read the names of the students. For the space purpose, if you can just stand at your seat and be recognized, we will get your certificates. After the board kind of gives us a 5-minute recess, we'll hand out your certificates. You'll take a group picture with the board, and the board will give comments. The Michigan Seal of Biliteracy Certificate of Proficiency, Daniel Belmars, is hereby recognized for language proficiency achievement in English and Spanish, and it's signed by the State Superintendent, Michael Rice, on 5/16/2023. Congratulations, and we will now recognize each one of you. Stay standing. Do you have the list? You're welcome. Again, I want to introduce Dr. Alicia, who is our bilingual director for the Pontiac School District. If you want to introduce your staff, who does a phenomenal job, as well as we want to recognize the principals, Mr. Lee Montgomery at the Pontiac High School, as well as Mr. Greg Spencer for International Technology Academy program.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Superintendent, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm very pleased and excited to have this opportunity. This is the first year the Pontiac School District has been involved in the Seal of Biliteracy, and for the first year, we have 25 recipients of the Seal of Biliteracy from the Michigan Department of Education. I'm so pleased and excited about that. Yeah. So I've invited Jennifer Howell just to give a brief overview of the program. She's from Oakland Schools. She's been very instrumental in making sure this happened in Pontiac. But I first want to introduce our wonderful staff. We have our ESL teacher at Pontiac High School, Sonia Ninsky. And our ESL teacher that supports ITA High School, Peggy Barker. We have Mavila Paz Hernandez, our parapro at Pontiac High School. And Leticia Gutierrez, our paraeducator at ITA. Special thank you to Principal Spencer for his support and Principal Montgomery. Thank you so much. Y quiero dar bienvenidos a los padres. Me da mucho gusto que están aquí hoy para dar apoyo a sus niños. Gracias por estar aquí. And I'd like to introduce Jennifer Howe quickly from Oakland School. She is the world language and she's the world language and what are you? Oh, heritage and world language specialist at Oakland Schools.
Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. As Dr. Alicia said, I'm the Heritage and World Languages Consultant at Oakland Schools, and that means that I get to work with language teachers as they support their students all across the county. And this is one of my favorite moments of the school year this year, to be here with you this evening to recognize the first 25 Pontiac recipients of the Michigan Seal of Biliteracy. The Michigan Seal of Biliteracy has been in effect since January of 2018. And as you've already heard, it honors high school graduates who have a proficiency in English and one other language. And so I believe 23 students here tonight are being recognized for the Seal of Biliteracy in English and Spanish. And you also have 2 students, is that correct, who are being recognized for the Seal of Biliteracy in English and Chinese. And so in order to, yes, go ahead, yes. In order to demonstrate their English proficiency, these students all celebrated their graduation from Pontiac about a week and a half ago by meeting the graduation requirements. And in order to demonstrate their Spanish or Chinese proficiency, they took a test in listening, reading, speaking, and writing. The students that I have given it to, it usually takes a good 3 hours, and they earned an intermediate high proficiency or higher, which means, students, that you are qualified to work in the service industries in your language that you earned the Michigan Seal of Biliteracy in. So that is absolutely something to be proud of. You also now are going to find out that since 2018, over 6,000 students have earned the Michigan Seal of Biliteracy. It sounds like a big number, but in the state of Michigan, that is not a big number, and you now join them as 25 of them. And you also join students across the nation, 49 states. If you're in South Dakota, convince them to do it. They're the holdout. But 49 states in the District of Columbia also have Seals of Biliteracy. So this is really an honor that you should be proud of. And even though I don't know all your families and school community, I think I can speak for them in saying that they are also very proud of your accomplishments, and we wish you the best in your next adventures. My language is not Spanish or Chinese. I speak English and German. So I will also say, ich gratuliere euch und wünsche euch alles Gute. Congratulations.
Buenas tardes, padres de familia. Les agradecemos mucho por estar con nosotros. Es un gran honor que sus hijos han recibido. Y voy a leer los nombres de ustedes. I'm going to read the name of the students. So as soon as I read them, please stand up and stay standing up, okay? So first of all, we are so proud of those 2 Chinese students who take the chance to take the test. The first student, what I'm going to read, is the highest score all of the students. And we are so proud. So, Shen Xun Liu from 98. Sarah Xu. Those are our 2 Chinese Mandarin students. In Spanish, Maria Alvarez. Amber Borjas Castro. Brenda Campos Juárez. Stephanie Castaneda Espinosa. Miguel Chavarría. Kimberly Cortés. Alan González Malpica. Wilson Liliu. Jonathan López. Leonel Martínez. Denise Medina Hernández. Fabiola Molina Portillo. Samara Murga Gómez. Luz María Ponce Domínguez. Alex Poxtan Mendoza. Ángel Serna Valenzuela. Joanny Texa Romero. Jency Torres Sánchez. And last but not least, Eduardo Vizcarra.
También mencionaremos a los siguientes estudiantes de Pontiac High School: Daniel Belmares, Diones Alejandro Flores Boscán, González Cerrillo Katie y Alexa Jaime. Muchas felicidades a todos.
Y quiero también que los padres se ponen de pie porque también con su apoyo podemos hacer eso. Gracias, los padres.
Okay, thank you. Comments from the board?
Yes.
Trustee Davis Smith?
I just want to say congratulations to you all and to the staff and parents who have helped them along the way. Great job, guys.
Okay, Trustee Hannah?
Congratulations. Thank you to the staff, Dr. Alicia, especially to the parents for encouraging and supporting your students in doing this. And just thank you, students, for your due diligence in completing this.
Okay. Trustee Terry?
I'm good.
I want to say congratulations to everyone. This is an honor. Having a second language is a real big benefit moving forward. So I wish everyone the best and congratulations. And thank you to all the parents that helped them and pushed them through this and made this successful for them. Thank you.
Okay. Madam Vice President?
Congratulations to everyone, to the parents, to staff. This is such a privilege to be a part of this, to see the work that you all have put in, and it's such a great representation of this community. So continue to thrive and do great things. Thank you for representing this community in such a way. Good job, everyone.
Thank you. Trustee Gross?
Thank you, sir. To the parents, first of all, thank you for trusting your children with us. We appreciate you believing in this school district. And lastly, students, thank you for believing in yourselves, that this school district can do what they can to make sure. And here you are, because of your hard work and dedication. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My students, raise your hands. Students, raise your hands. Students, what's your school district? Everybody, what school district? Where? One more time. Say that loud for the camera. Where? That's what I'm talking about.
Man, I'm super excited about this. When I heard about it about a year ago, so I don't think people really truly understand about when they say workforce development, right? When they say what can our kids do right now? So this is a perfect example when I mean that our kids can start making money for themselves right now, contribute to the home right now, contribute to the success of Pontiac as an overall community right now. So I want to thank the staff, the students, the parents, the state of Michigan, Oakland schools, Oakland ISD for bringing this here, making sure that our students had an opportunity, because this is a much larger impact than what we're going to ever see just in this particular particular room. And so one of my other jobs is that I chair Central Multicultural, right? I sit on that board, and every single month we're trying to push programs and what we want. How do we get our kids involved, our Latino kids involved in the process in the city, right? We have an interpreter shortage over at the courts, over when people go pay their bills, where people are going to shop. These kids now can be paid services for a language that they speak fluently, both English and Spanish now, and our Mandarin Chinese community, where people can now get assistance when they come here as first English language learners, that there's children, there's professionals that can interpret for them to make sure that they have an even playing field as it relates to getting social services, as it relates to getting the younger kids in school. So I thank the 25 individuals who decided to say, I wanted to do something for my family and my community now. You may not see it and understand it, but we're definitely hiring at Central. So we're going to talk to Dr. Acosta about that. But we will hire you to go in to interpret for our families that's struggling to have that communication barrier, that need that help. And that's what you've just done. So I'm so glad you got past this year. I'm so excited for the second cohort that's going to come behind you. But what you did for the city of Pontiac, you are the first, and we're going to make sure that that stays, that you are the first. But you have changed the dynamic of people who want to come here and service this community and live in this community. And you have no idea what you just done. But I thank you so much for stepping out on that leap of faith. So Frank, we're going to do what we traditionally do at this particular point in time. We want to make sure that the kids get their awards. We want you to meet us up here. We're going to take a picture with the board, and we're going to come back in 10 minutes. Is that okay? All right. Thank you. Meet and John for 10 minutes. All right, welcome back. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. Those who are at home, again, if you are seeking the service of a bilingual services, please contact the district. They can get you a hold to one of the students who I just recently found are seniors and who have graduated out of our system. And I'm sure the extra finances will come in handy as they move out through their next career. And so thank you again for bringing that presentation. It is very, very huge to our community overall. And I'm super excited about that. So, Mr. Secretary, thank you for bringing us back into our meeting. The time now is 6:44. We're going to move down to recognition of any elected officials that is in the audience that would like to say anything. Okay, I don't see any here, but I have 6 elected officials on this dais. Good evening to you. It's been a while since I've seen all of you. Everybody been out doing their thing and growing the district, so I appreciate each and every last one of you. We're going to move down to consent agenda. Need a motion on the floor. So moved by Trustee David Smith, supported by Trustee Bowman. Roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, sir. President Garrett,
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Hannah,
Yes.
Trustee Terry,
Yes.
VP Bowman, Trustee Kraft,
Yes.
and Treasurer David Smith.
Yes.
Sir, the consent agenda passed 7-0.
Okay, awesome. Going to move down to the information from the Superintendent and Administration, Superintendent's Report. Going to move down to discussion item, public hearing 2023-2024, proposed budget. Mr. Graham is the presenter. Superintendent, the meeting is now yours.
Thank you. So this is our 23-24 budget that will be proposed to the board as well as to the community. Mr. Graham will present our budget. It will be opened up for our public hearing. We do have a copy of the proposed budget on our district website, as well as copies in the front lobby on the desk available for review. At this time, I will turn it over to Mr. Graham.
Good evening, President Garrett, Board of Education, Superintendent Williams, community staff. I did a quick math in my head, and I think this is my 32nd budget presentation to a school board. So I'm not sure I've had many that have been this exciting, though. It's really, there's some substantial things we are doing the next school year and substantial things we are continuing that we've instituted the last few years. Next slide, please. So the outline of this, I want to talk about the purpose of the public hearing. It is a requirement of the state of Michigan. I want to talk about the budget process, talk about our funds, kind of where we've been the last 10 years, look at our overall budget with all our different funds, and then zero in on our general fund, which is our main fund that we do most of our day-to-day spending in that fund, and then look at the proposed millage rates and tax information, and then the next steps for the budget. So the purpose of the public hearing is to obviously get community input. It is something that is required by the state of Michigan to be able to levy our full taxes, and the board may not adopt this proposed budget until after we've had a public hearing. So this is really the budget process and timeline. I won't read all this stuff. It really starts right around the first of the year. We start developing the subsequent year budget, looking at the state estimates for revenues, looking at the governor's budget release, getting information to our department heads and principals, looking at our tax revenues, going through the process of developing a draft budget, going to a board retreat with that budget, making changes, and then proposing a final budget, and then I'm going to have in the public hearing, which is today, June 5th. These are all our funds, so you will see a summary of the all fund summary. But the general funds, which is our 100 level funds, again, is a primary fund that all of our activities go out of. That's where we pay our teachers. That's where we get the teaching supplies for students. That's where we pay for utilities. We do have some special revenue funds. Food service is really a standalone fund itself. We have all the federal dollars come into that fund for the food service program, and then we use that to pay for food and staff. We have a student activity fund also. Then the debt funds support our bond issue that was passed by the voters in 2020. We've had 2 series that we've we've actually sold 2 series of bonds for that $147 million bond issue. We have one more series coming up. The reason those are set aside is that we have specific, we want to make sure, first of all, that our tax levy doesn't ever exceed 2 mils. And then we're able to identify the different processes for our projects as they go forward with design and in our construction itself. Capital funds, we have a sinking fund. And then we have, again, similar to the 2 debt funds, we have 2 construction funds for the bond 2020. And then we have a risk-related fund, which is where we track our property and casualty insurance and our workers' compensation and unemployment. This is our 10-year financial trend. You can see kind of the big deficit, $51+ million deficit we had in 2012-13. You can see now we've got into the positive as of 2020-21 and continuing in that positive trend. The next chart shows the annual surplus we had. And again, we've had annual surpluses every year since 2013-14, which is pretty impressive. The all funds summary shows all the funds again. I'm not going to read all the numbers, but you can see the designation by column of the different funds. And you can see the individual surpluses and their fund balances, which is really another way of saying their savings account that carries over from year to year. You can see the impact of that by those different fund areas. So the general fund is, actually this is another view of that same budget, but this is by object. So the first one prior to this was by function. So function might be, you might be talking about utilities, instructional costs, that type of thing. This is by object. So this is broken up by salaries and then benefits, purchase services, and so on and so forth. So it's just a different view of the budget based on categorizing the costs differently. So the general fund, again, this is summary by function, instructional support, community, debt, etc. You can see the proposed budget is for $239,000. Oh, it's over here, $239,000 surplus. You can see the proposed revenues just under $112 million. Expenditures just over $111 million. And you can see our positive fund balance projected as $13.3 million for next year. Summary by object, same totals, everything's the same except the expenditures are done by these different categories, and you can see the different variations by those categories. So budget assumptions. So about 39% of our general fund revenues come from local revenue. The vast majority of that is property taxes, 18.6% of state revenues, and then 28.8% of federal revenues. And that number has changed a lot over the last few years because we've been, with the COVID-19 federal dollars, the district has been receiving what they call ESSER 1, ESSER 2, ESSER 3 dollars, and those have inflated the federal revenues. And once those dollars are spent, federal revenues will go back to the more traditional level of the budget. And then other financing, we borrow dollars for cash flow with a TAN, that's called a tax anticipation note. And we also receive some money from the county for Public Act 18 for special education. Wages, 31.9% of the budget is spent on wages. We do have a 2.8% wage increase for all employees. And also on the agenda tonight is the approval of a letter of agreement with the PEA, which is a teacher group, and the PPIA, which is parapros and aides, for additional increases, which will help make us more competitive in terms of our pay and other communities and other school districts. 23.4% for benefits. Some of that is mandatory because we are a subset really of the state of Michigan. All our employees have to pay into the state retirement system, and we're required to pay into that. Purchase services, that's where we pay for contracted companies for staffing, that type of thing. Supplies. Capital is related sometimes to the bond issue. Capital could also be vehicles. It could be equipment. And then debt service is paying the borrowing we have for the tax anticipation note. And also I'll talk a little bit more, but we're looking to reduce our debt burden, hopefully with the state budget coming forward. Next slide, please. So staffing changes. This includes 16.57 additional staff for the general fund, primarily teachers. Grants, 32.43 staff, primarily teachers and assistants. So these are some big infusions in staffing to help us educate our students. So some big picture items. This fiscal year 24 budget will be the 11th year in a row of a financial surplus. The fund balance, as mentioned, is projected to be 13.3 million. Talked about the pay increase. Also, all employees received a step increase if they're on steps. We are reducing the borrowing from 2.5 million to 2.5 million from 11 million to 8.5 million for the tax anticipation note borrowing. It was actually 9 million, and we'll talk about this a little bit more with the amendment next week too. But that's a significant reduction in our borrowing, and the goal is to get that down to zero as soon as we can. The budget does include an expected payoff of the state debt. Right now, it's a proposal to pay off the emergency loans the district received previously. That'd be about a $600,000 savings next year. Overall, since these payments would have continued on for many years, it's about $23.1 million savings to the budget of the district. We also have dollars to finish our construction projects, the secondary schools. We're starting to do work for the 2 elementary schools, designing those infrastructure improvements, as well as WHRC doors and window replacements. The budget includes updated furniture, equipment, and technology. We have dollars in there for increased security officers, and we've added improved security equipment and services. Again, ESSER dollars are still being used for the district to do many things, including address student learning loss. We've changed our district transportation vendor with a goal to significantly improve service quality. We've worked very hard on trying to make sure that happens next year. Significant increase in support of athletic program. We're also bringing the Pontiac Middle School custodial staff back in-house. They were contracted. Additional student course offerings, dollars to hopefully improve our food service quality and variety. And we have a presentation coming up on that. And then the district is monitoring cash flow on a daily basis in order to maximize our interest earnings. So we've spent a lot of time this year to make sure that we get as much interest as we can on dollars that we have in our bank accounts. So that's been a big push. I'm not going to, again, there's a lot of detail, but food service budget, these are the assumptions and expenditures on the food service. I'm not going to read every single one of them. Go to the next slide, please. And then this is a budget also for the food service department, the current, amended, and proposed. Next slide, please. Student activity fund, we have about $93 million we're projecting coming in. And we have 19 different student activity funds, and those are used to spend monies on students. They're really school building driven. And just as a note, the largest activity fund we have is the ITA robotics.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
93,000 or 93 million?
93,000, sorry. Sometimes my brain and my voice are off kilter. So appreciate if I make a mistake like that, please feel free. I've been talking about a lot of millions though, so it happens. Next slide, please. This again is the budget for the student activity fund for next year. So the bond series 1 debt, again, these are dollars we have to collect from our taxpayers to pay for the bond that was approved by the voters. So it's about this portion of it is about 1.62 mils, or exactly 1.62 mils. It'll levy about $5.6 million to pay our principal and interest for this next year. And again, this is in table form, the bond series 1 debt service fund. And then series 2 is a brand new fund. We just sold 25 million in change for series 2 just this last week. So we are levying a 0.38 mils for our taxpayers. And again, those two numbers together equal 2 mils, which is what we promise our taxpayers. We would not exceed 2 mils. And then we have principal and interest. We actually only have interest payment next year for that series 2. And this again, you'll see that there's no budget for this year and last year because it's brand new coming forward in next year. Sinking fund, about 2.84 million coming in. Again, that's property taxes. We have a tax levy of 0.7980 mils. That was rolled back last year from the original 0.8 mils that the voters approved. And this is year 3 of 5 for the sinking fund. And again, we use this also to help with construction projects. We're paying for the Pontiac High School, Pontiac Middle School science labs out of the sinking fund. And we always set aside $600,000 for repairs also. And this is sinking fund budget. And again, you can see a $6.6 million projected fund balance on that. So Series 1, and this is a construction part of these projects. We sold the $103 million in Series 1 in July of 2020. So obviously, since then, we've been spending that money doing the construction projects. So the only revenue coming in is interest earnings. And then we have about 12.8 million we believe we're going to be spending next year finishing up these buildings and also covering for, a little bit of FF&E technology and professional services. And again, you can see that this basically, we anticipate using these funds up, which would be proper because the projects are done in 2023-24, and then we'll be focusing really on Series 2, which is the next slide. And again, actually, since the $25 million we just received in June, that actually is in the current budget year, 22-23. So that'll be part of the budget amendment next meeting. We'll have that in there. So we just have the revenues for interest earnings. And you can see next year, as I mentioned earlier, we have WHRC doors and windows, Harrington Elementary infrastructure, Rogers Elementary infrastructure, and then FF&E technology and professional services for next year. And again, you can see the 25 million, which will be part of Amendment 2. I put that in there for visual. And you can see the spending plan as of right now for next year. Risk-related fund, again, covers our costs for general liability insurance, workers' comp, unemployment. Money is transferred from the general fund to this separate fund to pay these out of, to keep these costs segregated from other costs. And again, you can see the risk-related budget. So another requirement of the public hearing, besides talking about the budget, is to talk about the tax rates and taxes that are going to support the budget. So next slide, please. So I have been mentioning some of these as I'm going through my process, but I really want to talk about truth and taxation public hearing. And again, it's a requirement as part of Proposal A, in order for a district to collect the full 18 mills, they, on their non-homestead properties, they have to have a truth and budgeting hearing. And this, again, your 18 mills non-homestead is not your primary residence. This would be the millage for commercial property, industrial property, vacant homes, or vacant land and second homes. The millage amount must be authorized by school district voters. And since the millage can be reduced over time by the Headley Amendment, most districts have their voters authorize more than 18 mills. So Pontiac Schools actually has an authorized rate right now of 19.8892 mills. But again, we can only levy 18 mills. So for this year, for fiscal year 2023-24 coming up, there actually is no Headley rollback. So the district authorized millage rate remains still at that 19.8892 level. As mentioned, we can only levy 18 mills, which we plan on doing. The resulting estimated tax revenue is just over $41 million. We also in the budget include the 0.7980 sinking fund millage. Again, that was not rolled back any further this year. That will generate $2.74 million. And then we also include a $2 million debt, our 2 mil debt fund millage to support cumulatively or combined Series 1 and Series 2. Next slide, please. Just a couple of charts historically. Now, we don't have the updated information, but I will update this when I have it. It does show that of the 28 districts in Oakland County, Pontiac has the lowest millage rate for homeowners and actually non-homesteads. Excuse me. A little dry. Next slide, please. And also, average homeowner for school tax by community, Pontiac is substantially the lowest in the county for school tax bill. We plan on bringing this back for adoption June 19th. And June 20th. I'm sorry, that's right. We changed the date. So June 20th. And then, of course, this is a living document. We'll continue to update the budget during next school year. That's all I have. Any questions? We have the public comments first, I think then board comments.
So are we, the public hearing is scheduled for June 20th?
This is the public hearing.
First reading.
First reading.
So if the public has any questions, they would ask right now. That's part of the requirement. Excuse me.
We got you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, go ahead, give it. No.
Oh, thank you. I apologize.
No, I understand that. I just, yeah, okay. Got it. We will now open up the public hearing for the budget for the 2023-2024 school year. The public hearing is now open. The time now is 7:04 p.m. And if you have any questions about the budget and you are a resident here in the city or the school district, I'm sorry, your residence is in the school district, you can approach the podium at this particular point in time, ask any question that you may have. And excuse me, this is your first opportunity to do so, and you will have another opportunity on June the 20th. June
The 20th.
the 20th as well. Thank you. All right, going once, going twice. Okay. Any board comments at this time? No, we're not closing it out yet. There's any board comments at this time? No board comments? Okay.
Right.
Public hearing is closed for the
Thank you.
first reading at 7:05 p.m. All right, no problem. Thank you, sir. All right, we're going to move down to our next discussion item, which is the presentation of the proposed 2023-24 budget, but presentation. Oh, he just kind of went through all four of them. Oh, okay. We're going to move down to the SFE food service presentation. Superintendent, the meeting is yours. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We have our partners, SFE, to come before us to present their annual presentation. They will discuss with the community and the board steps that will be taken for the upcoming school year to ensure quality service for our students, as well as to discuss any issues or concerns or challenges that have been exhibited this school year. And I'll turn it over to SFE representatives now.
Good evening, Superintendent Williams. Good evening, President Garrett, and ladies and gentlemen of the board and administration. My name is Rodell Endeluz. I am the district director of area operations for the Detroit area. On my left is your general manager, Pontiac School District, Jarvis Richardson. So tonight we just want to go over some of the things that we have accomplished this year and also moving forward to next year. If you could move the slide for us, please. Currently in our staff, in the city of, or I should say in the district of Pontiac, you have your general manager, Jarvis, who is with me here today, Chef Kevin, who's our district chef, Nicholas Kroll, which is our assistant general manager, and soon coming another an assistant general manager starting on the 12th of June. And of course, myself. Next slide, please. Today, we just want to go over some of the menus that we're looking to roll out and go over some different menu items that the students and faculty could look forward to the next coming year. Some of the things that we've done for the community, roving chef programs that we're planning for the upcoming year. Also our plans for recruiting talent, and developing a little bit more of a cohesive and inclusive staff involvement in each and every particular building. Also some grant opportunities and monthly promotions that we're going to try and get the kids more involved in and get more exciting during the lunch program. Next. So some of the things that we're looking to do moving forward in the elementaries is, in the elementary concepts, is some parfait bars that includes multiple fruit, granolas, things that they could build for breakfast to the students that are coming to the lunchrooms. Other type of bars that we're looking at the loaded French fry potato bar or potato wedge bar. And this one's a little bit surprise for me, but we have been trying kind of like more comfort food type items, and it's been doing really well. We'd like to try it here. We haven't tried this in the state of Michigan yet, but a lot of the things that we have tried in the state, we've always tried to run through in Pontiac, because we've always felt like Pontiac gives us a really, really good baseline for whether it's going to be very, very successful in other districts. But one of them is that poutine tater tot hot dish bowl that we're looking to do. And then middle school, we're looking at shawarma bowls. These are new and up and coming, moving forward to the next iteration of what the middle school will be like, with their new kitchen, new equipment, new ovens. Those are the things that we'll be able to do. Loaded potato bar, and obviously homemade soups. Next. And some of the things that we want to try and do for WHRC and high school. Our WHRC is capable of doing this now since the kitchen has been reopened. The waffle bar, the Mediterranean shawarma bowls, homemade soups, wing days, variety of sauces, that type of deal, and barbecue day and chicken and waffle day.
If I can interject also, we started piloting the parfait bars that were talked about on the last slide over at Whitman, and the students enjoyed it. We actually did a roving chef last year, and it was put on our Facebook page, where we started having them build the actual parfaits, and the students enjoyed it. We actually piloted that at 2 different schools. I believe it was Alcott and Whitman that we tried it at the end too.
Next slide, please. The other thing that we're trying to do for the upcoming year is pursue breakfast grants to be able to get some carts that will make our food service program a little bit more mobile into the hallways, or maybe where the kids are walking into, so that way they don't have to come all the way to the cafeterias, and make sure that they're able to grab a breakfast, especially if they're coming in and you have 5 minutes left and you don't have time for to go all the way, and something a little bit more mobile. So, convenient is the one I'm going to grab and go stuff that we'll be able to do with them. So we're working on that with our grant department to be able to get those mobile carts available. And some of them will probably feature some coffee, for the adults and for the high school students. Next slide, please. So current promotions, we have October count day. We're planning to do a chicken and waffle promotion for that day. We did that this year as well, and it went really, really well. On Thanksgiving, it's our biggest participation meals that we provide, where we do a full out Thanksgiving dinner that includes stuffing, mashed potatoes, green beans, turkey and gravy, and we provide a kind of fresh from scratch homemade desserts. Those are the things that we've been doing from scratch for Thanksgiving, and of course the holiday meals, also a big hit for us. And then in February, we've been doing the Paint the District Red, all red salad bar. We'll have like strawberries and things of that nature in the salad bar. And then St. Patty's Day, where we offered, sausage, turkey sausage, sauerkraut, shamrock cups. So those are the different things that we're doing. I want to give this over to Jarvis regarding the partnership goals for staff morale.
One of the things we want to do is return to the Kitchen of the Month promotion. That way we have opportunity to highlight the staff. Staff is doing some great things in buildings. Whitman is one of my buildings where we've got new leadership, and Miss Margaret over there just really takes pride in what she serves the students. She's always trying to make sure that she gives them a little bit extra, and always trying to make sure that she's providing something for that building. She comes in early, she stays late. She helps with the after school program. If there are any other outside events that they have over at the school, you know, she's all in to be a part of that. And this is her first year as being the lead over there. Regina is kind of the same way over at Alcott, always kind of involved in the stuff that's going on in the community, and really wanting to be a part of that. And so we want to be able to feature, you know, some of the great things that they're doing and some of the sacrifices that they're making for our students. We want to do a mid-year staff appreciation and the end of the year staff banquet. We wanted to do that at the end of last year. Things kind of got ahead of us. We had some changes in staff, had changes in the management team. We weren't able to execute it, but that's something we want to get back to. And also, we want to do a feature of the staff member of the month in a newsletter that we're actually creating, the SFE. It's just a couple of pictures of staff being involved. D over at Rogers. We've got a couple of people who were working the dad's event that they had over at the high school. Kelly and Miss Dorothy helping over at, I believe that's Kennedy that they're at. Janice, who was helping to set up at the beginning of the school year when we had the beginning of the school year celebration over at Kensington Church. The trunk or treat, we always get an opportunity to participate in that. I try to make sure that I come to that event every year. And so we had a good time last year and this year being a part of that. Miss Loretta, who is the lead over at WHRC right now. And then the staff appreciation that they had at Kensington Church this past April. The staff that came to assist us, we had a couple of staff members who came over from other districts to help support that. And so we were grateful for their assistance. September, the back to school backpack distribution that normally happens with the district partners come together. We provided meals for the volunteers. Wanted to make sure that they were able to have what they needed. And then also we give a donation as a part of that. We all are always involved in the trunk or treat. The dad's high school event, which is the first year that we've been involved in it, but I heard that there's going to be an annual event, so we plan to participate in that again as well. Chef Kevin and I were outside cooking the food on the grill, and so we had opportunity to enjoy that. And then the kindergarten roundup, this is Miss Margaret working back in the kitchen. I was helping to assist her back in the kitchen for the kindergarten roundup, and I had an opportunity to be a part of that for the past 2 years, and it's been a real treat. In caterings for this past year, we've done about $20,000 from the beginning of the school year up until now in caterings. Point of pride again is the Pontiac Dads event, the donations and food for probably about 300 people. So we've been working with the business department and Diane Perez and pulling together things for the equipment grant we got awarded last year and this year for the equipment grant. We've been able to donate financially and in kind to events such as the beginning of the year kickoff, the backpack program, social committee celebration, the trunk or treat, the DAS program in high school, at the high school, and the grandparent program over at Harrington. We've obtained over $99,000 in grants year to date. Continuous training with staff support. It's been a tough year to do a lot of the training because our staff has been kind of fluctuating. We've had challenges within our management team, but we're moving past that and doing some more innovative training. And also we were awarded outstanding service over at Owen Elementary, where you see Nick taking the pound cake. I actually got a slice of that pound cake and it was pretty good. These are pictures of meals over at some of the schools. We have Whitman Elementary, I told you about. Miss Margaret, who's our new lead over there, and some of the food that she presents to the students, some of the biscuits that she did for some of the breakfast in the morning. You have Rogers Elementary doing a chicken quesadilla, and then their salad bar that they have there. Some of the other events, I believe that's was summer school that they have with the number 5 down here at the bottom. another meal that she put together. And then the new pizza impinger that's over at WHRC, we're able to feature the fresh pizzas.
Those pizzas from those impingers are absolutely divine. So if you guys get a chance to try them, please do. Thank you for being an outstanding partner. We look forward to continuing enhancing our partnership with you. It was a tough year with not a lot of our, would have two of our main kitchens being down and some staffing issues, but next year is going to be so much brighter than this year. So thank you very much. Yeah. Any questions?
All right, questions from the board? Go ahead, Sue. Well, no questions yet. Superintendent, go ahead.
Okay. A quick question.
Mhm.
One thing that continues to come up with some of the staff as well as trustees have discussed it with me is what service or quality food service operator are you going to be utilizing next year? We know that Gordon Foods was one that I've now requested to come back. Is that something that we will continue to utilize? Because that's one of the major concerns in regards to the food quality that we're getting.
We can definitely, I actually have the vice president of OpEx here this week. I can discuss that with them. We have a national contract with Cisco, all throughout the whole entire, not just here. Some of the supply chain issue has really affected many providers. Just for example, I'm on the board for your commodity consortium. So I'm a board member for more. This upcoming year, they'll tell you that, we went from having 5 purveyors for potatoes down to 1 for this upcoming year. A lot of these McCain's and whatever, they are moving out of the school realm because of the kind of stricter way how to produce certain things. And on top of that, some of the items that nutritionally needs to be produced at a certain rate has to be, it doesn't travel well. So which means like certain potatoes, for example, there's so much whole grain and so forth, and it doesn't look like a normal potato you would have somewhere else. Now for us, one of the challenges this year, because we went from having 3 full kitchens down to 1, we end up having to be in a position in where we made so much product from scratch, where a lot of those things in the previous years, especially in our first 5 years, were not really something you saw because of the fact that, if somebody, if they're making dinner rolls, for example, and dinner roll, comes from say Cisco or GFS, it didn't matter that they're, we didn't buy it from them. We made it from here. Like those biscuits you saw, that was from scratch. So we're going to be able to get back to doing that this upcoming year. But that's definitely something I can bring up to try and see if the purveyor can be switched back. The one thing that we want to be concerned about is making sure that we continue to maintain our national discounts to make sure that we maintain good food costs this upcoming year.
Thanks,
Okay.
President.
Questions from the board? Trustee Smith?
So for me, it's not the fact that you go to GFS or Cisco. It's the fact that I want to make sure that our students receive quality food. I own a bakery and a cafe as well, so I know that prices has risen a lot, especially since COVID. And but I still am able to give out quality food. My thing is, how are you going to be able to ensure that the workers are giving our students a quality product?
It's a great question. I think, one of the things that's, as these kitchens start to open up and we are able to normalize the amount of staff in each particular kitchen, more cohesiveness will happen. As everything that you make is based on the people that make it. When there's more training and better equipment and things that just kind of come together to create a better product, that is all that it would take. If you have, if you have somebody this week that is making, a particular bread or something, and then next week you have somebody else or you know that quality will be affected in that way. As we kind of grow and resolve a lot of our staffing issues and equipment issues this upcoming year, I believe that will normalize, and I will, get back to the way it was, because most people, sometimes because of short staffing, will be working at the high school, and then next week they'll be working at WHRC, not WHRC, but let's say Whitman or someplace like that. And so it also affects the staff with having to be able to keep moving from place to place to place to be able to, to fill gaps here and there, just to make sure that we're serving breakfast and serving lunch, But when we have these kitchens, when we're interviewing new team members for WHRC, they can see the work environment they're going to be going into. And WHRC has a beautiful kitchen, and they can see themselves in that place. It's going to be a little bit different, especially for a work environment, and also work ethics that will come along with it, and quality of work will turn around.
Thank you. Trustee Terry.
You mentioned a couple things in regards to the struggles from this year. Obviously, it sounds like equipment being one of those. I know there's transitions going on with the schools and some renovations and everything. With that, I guess, being put back into place, the meals you're showing now currently, and honestly, some of this does look good. I'm assuming these are the type of meals that will be being served versus some of the meals we got currently.
Yeah, some of the meals you actually saw there was served this year in kitchens, and where there was, equipment that we have, staffing, like a couple of the schools that we mentioned, Whitman, we have somebody that is consistent that's in there. He's, she's there early, she leaves late, she's part of the evening staff, or I should say the afternoon after school program. When that's where she is. Her staff is there on a day-to-day basis. Things like that will become more consistent. But this past year, the middle school was in the other part of the high school, and then WHRC was literally split out in different places. It kind of created a little bit of kind of lack of, continuity, with staffing, and it kind of affected the product. And then I'll be honest with you, this supply chain issue was very real until about maybe February of this year. We would order a certain kind of muffin and something else would come in. And that's not just because that was Cisco. That was also happening because, it was happening from manufacturers, and by the way, bread was a huge issue because there was eggs issues happening all throughout the whole entire, you probably know what I'm talking about. So, it was up and down and everything, and it just became kind of like, and then most of the people that come to work, they'll expect to work with one particular product, and something else would come in because something else was happening somewhere else with a manufacturer, and it kind of threw off the whole entire thing. But with equipment and kitchens in place, when they're all up, and I was part of speccing out in these kitchens the equipment that's going to be going in. I'm very excited about what we're going to be able to make out of these kitchens. Things that we can make from scratch. That won't. And by the way, people too, like if you come in and you present a good looking role and your kids love you, I want to come back the next day. So when you make good product, you're appreciated, makes it a little bit easier. So
with the kitchen renovations, what are we doing with the schools that aren't getting that renovation like right away?
Well, some of them already have products in or equipment in it. But this year was a little tough just because we took out, the middle school was out, the WHRC was out. So we had one main full kitchen, which was the high school, and we had kind of like, a really good kitchen, but it's on a smaller scale in Kennedy. But all of the other elementaries have equipment to be able to do what we need to do in different places. So the part of the issue with some of the quality issues in different places might have been because of the staffing being rotated around. This year, we're hoping to be able to give everybody a home for the whole year. That's the plan, and we have a good, solid plan to try and work with HR to even utilize some of our own contacts to be able to recruit some people this year. Go ahead.
If I could even speak to part of that dynamic, just to give you an example of how complicated it sometimes is. So at Kennedy,
Excuse me.
Sure.
Trustee Terry, can I have a point of privilege?
Point of privilege.
We're gonna go for a 10-minute recess. What time was that? Okay. All right, thank you. Welcome back. The time now is 7:38. Thank you for that point of privilege. You guys can go back to the podium, and Trustee Terry is going to finish his questions. Thank you so much. Thank you, community, for your patience and administration. Thank you.
I don't know if you had anything else to add to that, but I understand the kitchen situation. My next question was in regards to the staffing. What plan of actions do you have in regards to the retention and everything, as far as, you know, the turnaround and trying to maintain the same people in the same schools, et cetera?
Well, this upcoming year, we're going to be doing, we've placed a high importance into, you know, having a more competitive hiring wage to be more competitive with other districts, also at the same time competitive with other businesses from where, you know, in and around the area that might be, you know, looking to make a change on their career or I should say their work-life balance. Working with human resources in trying to find, we have had really good success with a particular algorithm in other districts through Indeed, and our HR department will be working with the HR department here to try and set up postings and things of that nature to be able to attract better quality talent that will want to come in, help us out for this upcoming year, especially with new kitchens opening up.
Okay, so as far as, I guess, expectations, with the kitchens up and running, that should not be an issue moving forward with any of the food or provided food or menus or anything like that. And then in addition, you're looking at the staffing. The question I have is in regards to your staffing, and you mentioned about being competitive. What's the count? Is it usually just 2 staff members or 3 staff members? Is it per school?
It depends per program. It depends per building. So there is really, you know, depends on the enrollment of each particular building as well. So all of those are all pending. We've had a lot of long-term team members that's been in the district for many, many years. You know, more than likely will continue to stay and assume the roles that they've had, you know, especially if their kitchens are reopening up and they'll go back to their home schools. Some of them have been displaced throughout, you know, the last year just because, you know, middle school kitchen was closed or WHRC's kitchen was closed. So.
Okay. And with the staffing, how often are we, I guess, doing random checks or just inspections or just visiting the sites to see how things are going? Is that done, monthly, bi-monthly? How often, I guess you want to say, as far as the manager or the supervisor is making those visits to see how things are operating?
I'm going to leave Jarvis to answer that, but the expectation is they should be there weekly, almost on a, you know, more frequent visits on a weekly basis, especially for our management group.
Typically, staff is in and out of schools, I would say at least 3 times a week. The challenge that we've run into, though, is when we've had
staff
as far as my management team, because typically there's supposed to be four managers within the district. We've been operating with 3 and at times 2 managers within the district because of, you know, not having our full staff. We had a staff member manager who left earlier in the year. That position was never replaced. We had a staff manager that came on board who was Nicholas. Nicholas actually came from another district. He traveled from Mount Pleasant to be down here with us during the week. And so he assisted in any way that he could. When we're short-staffed in schools like WHRC and the high school, managers have to go over there and actually serve. For an example, today, We had literally 3 staff members in the high school and middle school today because of call-offs. And so Kevin had to go and help not only in the high school, on the high school side, but on the middle school side as well. And so when we have managers who have to help in kitchens, we don't have the mobility to move around the district like we would normally do because there are other administrative duties that are due as far as paperwork that needs to go to accounting, paperwork that needs to be fulfilled for the state, things of that sort. And so it's difficult to juggle when you only have 1 or 2 managers within the unit.
Okay. Knowing that information, I guess I'll be just interested in just seeing some reviews. I don't know if it's quarterly or however, but I would prefer to see some reviews, what schools were visited, what some of the pictures look like, what results was found, what type of food was served, since it seems like sometimes it's a jack in the box. And you just never know what you're going to get. So I'm interested to see what that report would look like.
And one of the things that we've incorporated with our staff and our managers is requiring staff leads to take pictures of food and send it to managers so we know what the presentation looks like. That's one of the tools that we had to try to incorporate because we were running into these problems. I was actually out on medical leave for 2 weeks. And so that left 2 managers in the unit. So when you have a call off, then it's only the 2 of them that's able to do it. And if I'm off, I can't assist in that. And so we had to try to find other systems to try to put in place in order to cover us in that regard.
Okay. All right. So you do have pictures and
and some of them are the ones that you saw in the presentation. I have other pictures as well on my hard drive.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. We're good. Miss Davis Smith, you good? You good, Miss Hannah? You good? Okay. You're good. Okay. Fortunately, I have the opportunity to travel nationally and see your services throughout the country. So we're going to do a 30-day review. Every 30 days.
Yes, sir.
The Gordon option for food services.
Yes, sir.
We can look at that contractually, but we want Gordon's.
Okay.
The competitive wages, if that's something that needs to come from the district, we would like that to be told and shared throughout the district. If to our superintendent, if we're not or you're not seeing on a daily basis the type of services that you want to see as far as employees. That's number 3. Number 4, as it relates to managers, and maybe this is a contract conversation. Are we responsible for bringing in managers when managers leave? Is the hiring process through us?
No.
So that's through SFE?
Yeah.
Okay. So because we're paying for this particular service, when we are aware that one is leaving and we're supposed to have 4, then we want 4.
Yes, sir.
Our obligation is not to figure out where they're going to come from. We want 4. So that is going to be something that's going to be the standard practice. If there's some training or professional development that needs to take place with new employees, because in Pontiac School District, we have employees that's been here and worked in the kitchen since some of us were probably in there and worked through you inherited some real good people.
We did.
Not all of the people truly understand what needs to happen. And I will meet you halfway when they're not as coachable as others.
Yes, sir.
But however, it's the competitive wage piece. I clearly understand that. But let's make no mistake about it. We will not short end as it relates to what we need to have as due process on either one of our ends moving forward.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I appreciate that. There was no other questions for trustees. That was the end of our presentation. Is anything that you have to say?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you. And thank you, Mr. Jarvis. And thank you, sir, again for attending the meeting. We're going to move down now to the 2023-2024 MHSA Annual Membership Resolution. Superintendent.
Thank you. This is an annual membership resolution that comes before the board. the membership resolution for the year August 1st, 2023, July 31st, 2024 for our junior high, middle, and senior high schools of your school system, which are to be listed as MHSAA members and receive MHSAA mailings during 2023-24 are Pontiac High School and Pontiac Middle School. A, enrolled as members of the Michigan High School Athletic Association and Corporation, a nonprofit association, and are further enrolled to participate in the approved inter-school athletic activities sponsored by said association. This is our membership for our athletic program, which lists and provide guidelines that we must follow in order to be a part of a member of the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You have the attached membership resolution with the number of students that will be served in the Pontiac School District attached. And again, this is an annual resolution we bring before the board.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Questions from the board? Okay. Seeing none, we're going to move down to Parent Advisory Committee District Representative.
Thank you. I'll read the background rationale. The Pontiac School District Parent Advisory Committee, which is also known as the PAC, member vacancies. Each school district and public school academy are encouraged to nominate for appointment 1 or 2 PAC representatives. Pontiac School District Department of Special Services and Student Equity will make the recommendation for the nominee of 1 or 2 PAC representatives for the upcoming 2023-24 school year. The recommendation must be submitted to and approved by District Board of Education. After the Board of Education takes the appropriate action, approval of the recommendation of the nominee or nominees, the Director of Special Services, which is Dr. Jamison, and Student Equity Department will upload the name, address, email address, and a copy of the board minutes as confirmation of the nominees' term dates using the link provided by Oakland Schools. Oakland School will process the nominee through Oakland Schools Board to finalize their appointment to the position. This is for our special service or special needs population. We've had an individual in place for many years. That individual parent has moved on with their child, and we have nominated a new individual. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Education approve Miss Wanda Ellis as the parent representative for the Pontiac School District, which was selected by Dr. Jamison and her team.
Okay. Awesome. Any questions from the board? Okay. All right. Mr. Gross says he's like that choice. I like that choice as well. So thank you. We're going to move down now to electric cargo vans. Presenter, Mr. Holcomb, and Superintendent, the meeting is yours.
Thank you. As Mr. Holcomb is walking, I want the community to know and understand that whenever the district is purchasing any vehicles, we try to pursue grants that identify specifically the need and support to relieve the general fund, so it does not impact our general fund for our population or our district. We have done such a great job that we have been recognized at the state level for going after these grants aggressively, as well as supporting departments to move our district into the 21st century for transportation with the EV vehicles. With that being said, we are looking to purchase additional vehicles to support our food service program for the upcoming school year. Mr. Holcomb and Jim Graham, the CFO, has done a phenomenal job with securing the best rates through a cooperative bid, as well as using one of our local partnerships that we have developed with Joe Longhammer. At this time, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Holcomb.
Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. Good evening, President Garrett, trustees.
Good evening, sir.
The school district of the city of Pontiac has been developing the electric vehicle implementation plan and EV infrastructure capabilities over the past several months. This request is for 2 electric cargo vans to support that mission. So you all know, these are a little bit different than the passenger vans that we recently got. There's no seats in them. So it's truly intended for moving cargo within it. So when you look at the prices of them and wonder why it's so different, that's why. We didn't have to buy all the extra seating and seat belts and safety equipment inside of that. So EVs are 4 times more efficient than diesel and gasoline vehicles and offer significant fuel cost savings, according to the Union of Concerned Scientists and the Green Lining Institute. With fewer and less complex parts, EVs are easier to maintain, resulting in less downtime and lower lifetime operation costs. EVs offer instantaneous torque with nearly silent acceleration, as many of you experienced in our buses, and if you've had an opportunity in the vans. A little anecdote I like to use is Marvin Beasley won't drive one because he can't hear it running, so he doesn't really think it's working well. With much quieter motors than gasoline and diesel-powered vehicles, EVs reduce traffic noise, benefiting our vehicle drivers and surrounding community. These vans will be used to support our food services program and the daily transport of food and supplies between the central food repository at the Fell Center and intra-building runs within the district. Additionally, the vans will be available for other uses, such as when facilities need to transport supplies, do mail runs, etc., as well as other departments' needs. Daily range is approximately 125 miles on an overnight charge. The package that these consist of is a 2023 Ford E-Transit 350 medium roof cargo van with 148-inch wheelbase, an uplift package with a Tommy lift, this is a cargo lift that comes, the back of the doors open up, the lift drops down and uses hydraulics to get down to the ground level, so we don't have to worry about loading bays. They can take it right to the door of the building. Additionally, there's a wall mount charger and then delivery fees for a vehicle total of $75,130 per vehicle. So it is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Education approve the purchase of 2 EV cargo van bundles from Lunghammer Ford of Owasso, which is listed on the My Deal Extended Purchasing Plan, contract number 071B7700180, in the amount of $150,260. Questions?
Okay, questions from the board or comments? You said something?
What was that amount again?
150,260. There's a typo in the line there. I apologize for that.
Yeah, my numbers ain't.
There are a couple of additions. So this is based on the standard package. I know there's been some interest expressed in adding like a 360-degree camera. So currently these have just a regular backup camera. Additionally, they can add like a camera in each one of the mirrors around the car on the side, so you get a full 360-degree view. That option is $655 per vehicle. And this also does not include the passenger vans, so we wrapped them. We're looking at doing something a little different on these, making sure that the community knows these are electric vehicles, which we haven't done yet. Yes, sir.
No, you answered my
Okay.
question with that.
Okay. So you didn't eliminate your question. He got your question.
So it was a discount?
For 2 vans.
I'm sorry, I'm not following.
I'm sorry. What was the total?
So
what was the total price for one vehicle?
75. Let's see.
Okay, so this something ain't right. Okay.
$75,130.
Did I get it?
So it adds up to $150,260.
I don't know what you're looking at.
Bill,
Is
do
there
you
an
have this
update? I got a 78,480 per vehicle.
This is what's on the bear. Is yours different?
the
This is what you
base?
sent to us.
Yeah. Different. It's more.
Nope, this is
No, 78,480. I got $78,480 for the
Right.
package.
Correct.
He's saying it's less than this. He's saying it's 75.
I apologize.
Including the contingency for delivery as well. So This is what you
Yes,
sent
I didn't
us.
have that. I'm sorry, I did not have that on my printout.
Okay. Is this the correct one that the board
Yes.
has? All right.
Oh, okay.
I was getting a discount.
And again, this is utilizing Mr. Longhammer, who recently
Gotcha.
bought a Ford dealership up in Owasso, which is on the My Deal consortium.
Okay, Mr. Longhammer.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? You good?
No, we're good.
Okay. You answered most of my questions. We do have a contingency in there. And I can take a vote on this, or if there's objections to this, what I'm about to ask, please speak your objection, and then we'll take a vote on it if it's something that you cannot live with. So there was an option here to have the white noise backup alarm, reverse sensing system, and side sensing system includes reverse sensing. And so because these vehicles will be used more than the transportation vehicles, I want to ask the board to actually allow that expense with these particular vehicles. I'm not going to mention the words. Some drivers some people are not as tall as other people. And sometimes when you're driving these vehicles, I don't want to not allow someone who may not be as tall physically, but tall in heart, to have a hard time steering the vehicle and it gets stuck with somebody who is tall always driving, because that particular, or some people may not be as tall. So that sensoring system helps a person driving the vehicle, backing into docks, that helps protect the longevity of the outside of the vehicle as well as the vehicle itself. And it's just an upgrade feature that I found to have on my personal vehicles and vehicles that I've seen in our police cars that has helped deputies drive better in parking. And it helps that when you get the vehicle, you're not always getting a vehicle that's have a few dings in it because those sensors are not available. So it was about a $930 upgrade, additional to what was already marked. So, yeah, I would like to establish a motion on the floor. I would like to put a motion on the floor to allow that $930 upgrade to be extended to these vehicles. Hold on.
No, just repeat
Point
which
of clarity.
three you were talking about.
It's the white noise backup alarm, it's the reverse sensing system, and it's the side sensing system, which includes reverse sensing and fog lamps. It gets pretty dark in Michigan when these folks have to deliver in the wintertime, but when the food services have to be delivered early in the morning, you don't have the lighting in the city streets, or at, most of our schools are pretty well lit, but those dock and bay areas can be a little difficult to manage with people with not height challenges in heart, but just challenges of just viewing where they're backing. So I have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
So moved.
So it's second by Trustee Dave. It's second by Trustee Bowman. I put the motion on the floor. I second it. Now we had comments, questions. We had discussions, comments, questions, or discussions. Trustee Shaquana Davis.
So me as a professional driver, and I also have a electric vehicle. It is, I believe that will be a great idea because a lot of times people can't hear the vehicle, period. So the backing up noise, I believe, will be great, as well as I do a box truck. So I've seen some people who are not as great backing up and will also hit things. So I do believe that that's a great safety issue, and I'm all about safety. So
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Kraft.
We're making those safety upgrades. Would it be that the insurance will go down on that particular vehicle if we do add those in?
No, we don't pay like, it's not like your regular car. We have overall coverage through SETSEG. So it's not we're not paying an individual price.
Yeah, I think we usually pay $400 a year so it might be, I mean, we'll submit that when we get the insurance on it. So there may be a slight reduction, but it's probably in the, $20, $30, $40 range annually. So it wouldn't be, but it might be a little bit.
I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. So
I appreciate that. Okay. That was it. Okay. All right. With that motion being said, in the discussion, roll call, Mr. Secretary, to add that additional cost to the bear.
Got it. I'm voting yes. Trustee Hannah.
Yes.
Trustee Terry.
Yes.
Surprising. VP Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
yes.
Treasurer Davis Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
Great idea. So that to add on to the bear, 7-0.
Awesome. Thank you. Administration, are we pretty much clear that that motion passed and we can have that on?
Thank you.
All right. We need no, we still got discussion items. I'm sorry. Thank you for that. We're going to move down to video surveillance, server refresher, and camera licensing. That
you.
is now in the hands of the superintendent, and I believe.
At this time, I'll have Jeff Moss. And is Tom here? Tom, do you want?
Good evening, everyone. Tonight we have before the board consideration for the replacement of our video surveillance servers. Our original servers were purchased in 2015, so that's making them 8 years old, and we've got our life out of them. In addition, we've added substantial amount of cameras across the district through our 2020 bond issue. So what we're recommending to the board is to replace our current servers with 4 new servers. We will be keeping one of our older servers that was purchased in 2020 and incorporating that into the mix. So we'll have 5 total video surveillance servers to accommodate our 600 cameras across the district. And these are purchased based upon a cooperative with Lapeer Community Schools. So as being part of the field service program, what we often do is go out for bid across different districts and try to standardize our software and our hardware. So Lapeer put a bid out for video surveillance systems, which is our milestone, including hardware. And in the bid was written to extend the pricing to any of the Oakland County districts that wish to purchase off of it. So it sits on a legal cooperative based upon that. So we have currently 9 of our 15 districts participating in that for video surveillance systems. So we'll leverage that as our purchasing cooperative. And as the second part of this is refreshing our licensing. So originally we had 5-year licensing on our video surveillance system. We're recommending 3 years because we see the technology changing a little bit down the road, and we want to give ourselves some options in 3 years to see where the market goes. With Mr. Holcomb and Mr. Mattson, we did evaluate going to the cloud this year. It was cost prohibitive. It was about 3 to 4 times the cost of refreshing the servers and the licensing. And that was an annual cost. So it's not quite there to go to the cloud yet. But if there's any particular questions regarding this replacement, it's kind of a typical refresh that we do every 5 to 8 years.
All right. Any questions from the board? Okay. No questions from the board. Pretty much, was it Lake Orion you said went out?
Lapeer.
Lapeer. Pretty much thank them for going out for that and allowing us to kind of piggyback on that. Is this reimbursable as well through our technology program?
So we are using one of the state security grants, the 97 grant for the licensing, and we're using our 2020 bond to purchase the hardware. So I'm not sure, President, what you're referring to as reimbursable.
Sometimes some of the technology, E-rate, some of the technology.
This is not. E-rate limits it basically to networking equipment now. The servers wouldn't be reimbursable.
And the 2020 bond is the county's bond or our bond?
It's our
ISD
bond.
The ISD bond?
Yeah, no, the district bond.
The district bond.
It was part of the budget as part of our technology refresh
Okay.
in our bond program schedule.
Okay. All right. Mr. Holcomb, anything you want to add?
No, sir.
All set? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. We're going to move down to PPIA, PEA letter of agreement, superintendent and Mr. Seegers.
I'll defer to Mr. Seegers.
Good evening. So we have a couple of letter of agreements for the board today. The first is a letter of agreement between the Pontiac School District and the Pontiac Paraeducator Instructors Association, the PPIA. The district and the PPIA entered into discussions about finances during the spring of 2023, and after several meetings have agreed to the attached letter of agreement. The attached letter of agreement sets forth the changes to the life insurance provided by the district and a $2 per hour wage increase across the board, in addition to the 2.8% wage increase given to the PPIA members pursuant to their collective bargaining agreement. It is a recommendation of administration that the Board of Education approve the attached letter of agreement between the district and the PPIA.
Thank you. Any questions from the board in regards to first letter? Okay. You can continue, Mr. Seeger.
The next is a letter of agreement, proposed letter of agreement between the Pontiac Education Association, the PEA, and the School District of the City of Pontiac. The district and the Pontiac Education Association, PEA, entered into discussions about finances during the spring of 2023, and after several meetings have agreed to the attached letter of agreement. The attached LOA sets forth changes to the benefit package provided by the district, increases the maximum number of steps that the district may grant newly hired teachers for past work experience, and a salary increase between 2.8% and 14.1%. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Education approve the attached letter of agreement between the district and the PEA.
Any questions from the board? Okay. All right. Quick question. I know we had to have a closed session conversation around this. Are we able to, after the vote, talk about what this impacts or what this could possibly do for our district?
You mean in closed session or an open session?
No, an open session.
Yes.
After this. We just can't talk about it before.
Correct.
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 Mhm.
I'm just trying not to go to jail, sir.
Okay.
I mean, that's why we're here.
That's why I'm here.
You got people at home. You got people in. I mean, people would hate to see that Deputy Garrett got arrested doing a closed session meeting because I violated closed session. Okay, that's good. I'm just trying to check because I'm really excited about it. I don't want to slip up.
Of course.
I don't want to slip. That's why we got attorneys in the world. All right. We're going to move down to action items. Because of
It's out of there. We can do it.
huh?
Said it's out of there. We can do it.
Yeah.
Combine it.
So I'm going to entertain a motion on the floor to combine the action items at this particular
So
point in time. So
Oh, I'm sorry. You can finish. I'm gonna let him finish his statement.
yeah, I got this one over here and I got this one right here.
You got it.
I want to combine the action items.
Right on.
A, B was removed. So A, C, D, E, F, and G.
Yes.
So moved.
So moved by trustee Hannah. Support.
Support.
Y'all just gonna sound like parrots, huh? Moved by trustee Hannah, supported by trustee Kraft. Questions, comments, concerns about the combination? Hearing none. What, you didn't want to move it? Oh, okay. I mean, let me know. Ain't nobody need to, no pressure. We can go one by one. Roll call, please.
Okay, let me write this real quick. Action items. Got it.
it, just combining them.
Yes, let's combine. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Trustee Hannah,
Yes.
Trustee Terry,
Yes.
VP Bowman,
Yes.
Trustee Kraft,
Yes.
Treasurer Davis Smith,
Yes.
President Garrett,
Yes.
and I'm voting yes. Sir, the combination of these action items passed 7-0.
All right, thank you. Need a motion on the floor to approve the combined action items.
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Bowman, supported by Trustee Hannah. Questions, comments, or concerns to the approval? Hearing none. Roll call.
Trustee Terry,
Yes.
VP Bowman,
Yes.
Trustee Kraft,
Yes.
Treasurer Davis Smith, President Garrett.
Yes.
I'm voting yes, and Trustee Hannah.
Yes.
Sir, that was approved. 7-0.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. We're going to move down to regular working agenda, move on to discussion items. City of Pontiac MOU request. We do have Mrs. Taylor here from the City of Pontiac Pyrec, and the Quest champion, multi champion here, cheerleading dance team. Ma'am, if you could take the podium. And so this was a request to be brought back to the board. And I brought it back for a discussion item. I was not here during the first presentation of this particular item. Before I moved it forward, there were some emails, and then there was a request to have it brought back to the board for discussion. So this is the particular point in time to have that particular discussion, and then we'll see what the next steps are or after that particular question. Questions have been answered. So if you want to go over an overall preview of the MOU, if you have a slideshow, I'm not sure, but the floor is yours, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for adding me to the agenda. I'm excited about this because I'm excited about the youth in our community and having experience, exposure, and opportunity. I presented an MOU just really talking about the programs that we're going to be offering for after school, as well as in the summer for neighborhood park program. Now, after school program, we collaborated this past fall and in the winter with girls basketball and boys basketball. And we connected with Project Excel as well with dance. Now, I can tell you this, the girls basketball program wasn't as successful just due to the late start with the two parties agreeing. However, the boys basketball program was super successful. We had 8 teams combined in the program, and 5 of which were Pontiac schools. And they practiced every week at their schools, and then they played a championship game. And it was phenomenal. So we want to continue that type of collaboration for our students, our community. Now, we've added other sports and enrichment programs that we're excited about. We added to that some flag football, little bit of tumbling, doing this all at the schools. So we think this will be great because a lot of times our students sign up, but they don't show up. Could be transportation, but whatever it is, we want to meet the need of them and meet them where they are. So where are they? They're at the schools. And so it's imperative that we come together and we are better together. So this is the reason why we're here for this discussion, to say, hey, let's come together, meet our kids where they are, and put the programs in the schools. Now, we are aware that there are after-school programs that are already existing in the schools. So we have collaborated with them. We have collaborated with Oakland County Sheriff's Pell, and we've collaborated with Project Excel. Both have been very successful. The other reason of the discussion is a neighborhood park program. That's to help our students in the summer. We have an array of programs, but again, students sign up and don't show up. So we want to meet them there. What is a neighborhood park program? They can come out of their homes. They have to register, first of all, but they can come out of their homes, walk to the program. We will provide them with breakfast, snack, and lunch. They'll play on the program, playground. They'll play on the playground, and only thing we need this access for the schools in the inside is the gymnasium and the restrooms. That's all I have for this, because to me, it's really simple. It's just us coming together and making it happen.
Okay. All right. I'll go with the first round. Questions from the board? Any?
Just have.
Go ahead, VP Bowman.
You slightly touched on it the first time you came in, but it's just, so as far as the lunch cleanup and things like that, we will already have staff in the schools because we'll have summer school, but to not take them away from the things that they're doing, your staff will make sure that the areas that you are in are cleaned up to the way it was or better when the students leave.
That is correct.
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for the first round? Go ahead, Trustee Hannah.
Hi, Ms. Taylor. Have you already identified which locations you're thinking that this park program will be best served at?
Yes, we would like to pilot Elcott and Harrington. And the reason behind that is because they both have 6 existing neighborhoods that are connected to those schools, so those students can walk to the school.
Is that for this summer?
Yes.
Okay, that's for this summer. Okay.
Yes. The start would be July 10th.
Okay. He said Elcott and Harrington?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions for the first round? Okay. Second round. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I totally agree. We are better together. And this doesn't have anything to do necessarily with programs overall for the city itself, but we are in the middle of a bond project and a construction project. So I can't agree with as is written right now. I would like to actually kind of have another meeting in board governance along with our superintendent, Project Excel, PAL, if they need to be there as well, because you said you guys have already partnered before to figure out what days are available, because this is the time that our facilities in summer school, where we're doing our summer school prep regular school. And so I can't honestly say that Elcott and Harrington will be available versus if the high school may be available at a certain time over Elcott and Harrington. And so I saw the list of program offerings that you are offering at this particular point in time, but I need to be able to sit all of you down in one room to see if this is all possible. Because if I agree to what was written right now, it gives us, it throws off facilities. It throws off our prep time as far as what we have in our bond project. And then there's several things that we're doing to each one of those schools that at this particular year, you may be able to do after, outside of school, but you may not be able to do the inside. And that is something that we can't afford to not, because of we've already behind in our bond project programs, kind of hold off. And so there are some programs that I know Project Excel has going on. Like you said, you partner with them. There are some programs that PAL has going on, and you said you partner with them. But if we can have a meeting in our board governance, if there's no objection to the board to table this to board governance, for me to get with Ms. Taylor to figure out what programs specifically that can happen during that particular point in time. But I'll yield to the superintendent at this time.
President, may I please ask the board for administration to meet with them first before even let us have a planning session and then try to present something to the board. This is the first time that I've heard of this. And so, we could have kind of navigated through some of the issues before this even came to the board. So if we can sit down with facilities and our Project Excel director first, with Tanisha, and see if we can work anything out, because there are bond projects, as you spoke to, that will be taking place at both locations that she mentioned.
Yeah, that wasn't a problem. So that was that board governance piece.
Okay.
So we still want to be involved, and we still want to see
bring it back to you?
But
Yes.
we'll do it at board governance, because there's a time set to this, and that board governance piece is our board governance is next week, right? I think it's the 12th. I'm not sure. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but our board governance is next week, right? You're saying you have a July 10th starting date. So at least that gives you enough, at least that coming in that early, we'll be at the table. Anybody is an open meeting, people are welcome to kind of come. They ain't welcome. It's their meeting, so they can't come to have that deep dive discussion about the details of your particular program and what we can offer and what we can't offer. And that's just us doing our due diligence in that process. And so hearing everything that you stated, so our board governance meeting, let me get that date for you, will be the 12th of June, here at 6:00. And we'll have that deep dive conversation, if we can, if we cannot. And then if it gets to a point where this is not the year that we can do it, then that would give us a great opportunity to have all of those particular organizations in one room to have a discussion about what rec programs look like in the Pontiac School District. My second question is this is MOU is a little different. The first time we went before council signed off on it, then they brought it over to the district. Is this something that's going to be signed off before council? Or is this just what is the process that you guys are using over at the city to say that this partnership, or is this a MOU? Because the second piece of it is, if it's just using the building itself, then maybe the option, we'll talk about this on the 12th, would be for the city to say, put in a facility management agreement with facilities, and if the building is available, then you pretty much work the program around there. We want to just put as much options on the table as possible and not lose any opportunities if we can at this point. So.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm sorry, Trustee Kraft.
Okay, before you leave,
can you bring the mic to you?
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Before you leave, I want you to know that from the superintendent down to board president and the rest of the trustees, we want to see this happen. But, we have to do our due diligence and do the right thing by this. Everybody on this board want the best for our kids. So this is going to eventually happen one day. We just got to sit and work it out.
Sure. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move down to General Counsel Human Resources discussion items. Solent Health contract renewal. Mr. Callum. Mrs. Callum, I'm sorry. Superintendent. Okay.
Good evening, President Garrett, trustees, staff, and community. This is a contract renewal for discussion and action for Soliant Health Services for the 23-24 professional services. The background rationale reads, the purpose for this contract is to provide services for occupational therapy, speech and language pathology, and physical therapy, school psychologists to students with disabilities as specified by their individual education plan, IEP. Federal and state regulations require that OT, SLP, PT, and SLP services be provided to students as stipulated in their IEPs. This contract will ensure the continuation for students who qualify for these services from July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2024. There are price increases, which are listed below. The funding sources are listed as well. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Education discuss and approve the professional services contract for occupational therapy, speech language pathology, and physical therapy, school psychologists with Soliant Health in the Pontiac School District, effective July 1, 2023 to June 30, 2024, in the amount not to exceed $1 million.
All right, thank you. Any comments from the board? Okay. Hearing none, we're going to move down to PGS contract. Superintendent. Meeting yours.
This time I'll defer to Daryl.
Yes. So this is the contract for Professional Ground Services, LLC, which is the company that provides ground services to the district. The administration is recommending the Board of Education approve a one-year renewal extension with 2 additional one-year options of this grounds contract We believe it is in the district's best interest to extend the grounds contract with Professional Ground Services, PGS, for an additional year with the additional 2-year options. The quality of work and response time for district needs has been a great value under our current contract. During the winter months, crews are out all night plowing and salting the parking lots and sidewalks to ensure the safety of students and staff. The current grounds crew is also responsible for maintaining and painting the athletic fields to ensure fields are ready and properly painted. There is a modest 2.5% increase in the contract amount this year. However, it should be noted that PGS hasn't sought or received any increases in 4 years. According to PGS, the reason for the increase is due to their costs going up in virtually all aspects of their operations, including materials, equipment, and of course, labor. It is a recommendation of administration that the Board of Education approve the 1-year renewal extension of the PGS contract with 2 additional 1-year options for ground services at an annual amount not to exceed $397,439 through June 30, 2024.
All right, awesome. Any meetings or discussions or topics of discussion? Questions? That's what I was supposed to be asking. Huh? It happens. All right, here and none. We're going to move down to approval of Pharaoh's MOU. Mr. Seeger.
The Pontiac Pharaohs is a semi-professional basketball team that started in the Lansing area, Michigan area, in the spring of 2022. They are relocating to Oakland County for the 2024 season and have requested to rent the PHS facilities for their home games. Games will be played Friday to Sunday, starting March 1, 2024, and ending on June 30th of 2025. Allowing the team to use our facilities could benefit the district in the following ways. It could generate revenue, as they will be giving the district 25% of ticket revenue. They would foster community engagement. Hosting a semi-pro basketball team at the Pontiac High School facilities can create a sense of community involvement. It gives a sense of promotion. The presence of a semi-pro basketball team at PHS can attract attention and generate publicity. And it provides networking opportunities. Hosting a semi-pro basketball team opens up networking opportunities for the district. Coaches, players, and staff associated with the team may have connections to other sports organizations, colleges, or university. This can lead to potential collaborations, scholarships, or even internships for students interested in pursuing sports-related careers. It is a recommendation of administration that the Board of Education approve the MOU with the Pontiac Pharaohs for the 2024-2025 season.
Okay. Any comments from the board?
Yeah, it's just a quick
Trustee Gross?
Yeah, does the board and the superintendent, can we get box seats?
Box seats? That's construction costs, sir. In that.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a great idea.
Box seats are the.
No, I'm thinking
Oh.
put them on.
Man.
I'm going to enjoy that.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. So, Attorney Romo would have been here. Her vehicle had broke down. She's fine, but her vehicle broke down. One of the situations that we talked about maybe 3 years ago when I first got back on the board is how do we actively engage our community into our facilities, and who are we as a community, right? So we take our sports very seriously, and basketball is via one of them. So a lot of the tracks that a lot of our basketball players take is through the semi-pro until they're able to go pro. And I'm talking about specifically for Pontiac. I'm not talking about anywhere else. So Pontiac will travel to LCA Arena and they will go to see the Lions at some places, but they like to root on their local folks. And so when you have all of this AAU competition, NIL, et cetera, to have a league in your particular area where your professionals who are on summer break can come to not just look, but to participate, to have those who are, I would like to say, well recruited, collegiately and professionally come into your town. It kind of gives them gives us the best light to our kids. And that was one of the rationales for engaging into this conversation. They changed the name from the Lansing Pharaohs per the contract to the Pontiac Pharaohs to make it represent home and have some connection to it. And when you look at some of these semi-pro teams just across the country and what they've done in other communities, it just kind of sits right with Pontiac as it relates. So just wanted to give that little background check to that. We're going to move down to R&J Consulting and Contracting. The presenter, Attorney Seeger, Superintendent, the meeting's yours.
Okay. R&J Consulting and Contracting LLC oversees the district's facilities department. Among other things, it develops and maintains a 5-year capital improvement plan, including sinking fund and bond priority lists based on 2016 facilities condition assessment to best support the program delivery and safety needs of Pontiac School District within the constraints of the approved finance and operating plan. The fee payable for the services provided for 12 months of this agreement shall not exceed $111,268.45. Also, the contractor may be reimbursed for expenses in an amount not to exceed $18,200 annually. The term of this agreement shall commence on July 1, 2023, and shall end on June 30th of 2024. This agreement may be terminated by either party without cause upon 30 days advance written notice to the other party. It is a recommendation of administration that the Board of Education approve R&J Consulting and Contracting LLC's contract for fiscal year 2023-2024. The base fee payable for the services provided for 12 months of this agreement shall not exceed $111,268.45. Also, the contractor may be reimbursed for expenses in an amount not to exceed $18,200 annually. The contractor's fee represents a 2.8% increase over the current contract and is consistent with the increase being given to vendors for the next fiscal year. The term of this agreement shall commence on July 1, 2023, and shall end on June 30th of 2024.
Okay. Awesome. Any other questions from the board? Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to move down to action items. If I don't have anyone who disagrees, can I get a combination approval for a combination of action items A, B, C, and D?
Support.
So moved by Trustee David Smith, supported by Trustee Hannah. Questions, comments, or concerns about the combination of action items A, B, C, and D? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Treasurer David Smith. Yes. President Garrett.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Hannah
Yes.
and Trustee Terry.
Yes.
Sir, to combine, pass 6-0.
Awesome. I need a motion on the floor to approve the combined action items A, B, C, and D.
So moved.
So moved by Trustee David Smith, supported by Trustee Terry. Questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, roll call.
Who support?
I'm sorry. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I just did y'all so dirty, didn't I?
Jump right through.
Okay. None. Roll call.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Treasurer David Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Hannah
Yes.
and Trustee Terry.
Yes.
Sir, that approval was 6-0.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. We're going to move down to curriculum instructions. We don't have any. We'll move down to operations and maintenance. No bond requests? What? Okay. Communications, petitions, and delegations. VP had to leave. She didn't leave me with any. We're going to move down to board comments and announcements. Trustee Kraft. Good evening, sir.
Hello, my Pontiac citizens and my fellow board members and superintendent and administration. Last week, I had the opportunity of going to the Tiger game, and I happened to see some of our students there. I think Chief Gross and Trustee Gross had the opportunity of bringing. I think it was, how many kids did you bring?
Yeah, 8 children.
They had eight children that had never been to a Tiger game, and it was wonderful to see because those kids were very excited just by being just at awe and being inside the park, and what really, topped the night off and everything. They bought them a lot of souvenirs and things like that. The kids had an awesome time, And, you know, overall, I was allowed through my organization to have 100 tickets, and I provide them to different organizations, the Man Up organization, and then some of my former T-ball kids and everything. So overall, it was a wonderful experience, and I plan on doing it again by the end of the summer. And, you know, that's all I have. And everyone have a wonderful week.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Hannah.
Good evening.
Good
I feel like
evening,
I
ma'am.
haven't seen everybody in a minute. So good to see everybody tonight. I just want to say congratulations to Ms. Wanda Ellis for being nominated for the Parent Advisory Committee as a district rep. And again, congratulations to our ELA students and their parents for that accomplishment. That's a great asset for the Pontiac School District. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Trustee Shaquana Davis-Smith.
Good evening.
evening.
Good evening. So I just wanted to say congratulations to one of our teachers, Kathy Carew, for being nominated as Lifetime Teacher Award. I always tease her and tell her she's the teacher of the year every year. So I was very proud of her when she was nominated, and I just want to let everybody know how much she means to our district and our students. She goes beyond the call of duty as a teacher, and I just want to congratulate her on that. We have a lot of teachers that are Miss Caruths, and they do a lot in our district. And so I just want to tell our teachers and staff how much I appreciate them, and I hope that they have a great summer this year. And that's all I got tonight, guys. Have a good night.
Okay. All right. Trustee Terry, how you doing, sir? Man, I'm good.
It's been an interesting day.
Very much so.
Very interesting day. Good evening. Make it short then. I want to say congratulations again to the students that received the seal of biliteracy. Congratulations. This is just awesome to have 25 students the first time to receive that award. So congratulations to that. I want to say congratulations also with the PPIA and the PEA for the new year coming up. More information to come. I'm sure you want to touch base on that. And then other than that, good meeting as always. Good to see everybody. And that's it.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Trustee Gross. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Thank you. I'll definitely be brief. Soup, is this our last meeting before on the 19th?
20th.
Of June? When is school out? June 15th. So this is our last board meeting and school is out.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I'm asking. School will be done. So I want to say happy summer. Because coming on the 20th, they've already be at home. So happy summer and thank you to everyone who have helped our kids to succeed. What a wonderful graduation. Did we have a good time or what? We had a blast and we great energy and you know I'm truly grateful to serve with a group of 7 individuals who become a family, and how much we are. If you're at home and you listen to these board reports, we always talk about what we want to do and what we're doing for children, and it says a lot about all of you. So I appreciate that, and especially with Mr. Kraft, you coming on this board, man. You jump right in and you got your feet wet, buddy, and you're working. And I commend you for what you did for the children. You and Chief Gross for the baseball game. We had some pictures out there. Soup, I know you see them. Heidi was able to take her and Frank and got us some pictures. But you know what? The most exciting part of that entire trip, not just being there and seeing the game, is to look at the faces of children who have never in their life been able to do something like that. And it's because of your commitment with getting these tickets and Gil and I buying all that food.
You did?
I'm putting it on you. But no, you know what? And all jokes aside, I'd do it again 20 times over because these kids continue to tell Chief Gross how much fun they had. And to be able to have a variety of children, not one specific group, but a variety from every parts of Pontiac. And they had a ball. And we became, a family on that trip. And that I appreciate. And I thank you. And let's continue to do what we're doing. We got a lot of business to take care of, but we're getting it done. And we're doing it well together. And the key is togetherness. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And Soup, thank you and your team and everybody that worked hard this year. It was a little different, but I'm going to leave with a saying that my good friend Pops, rest his soul, he was 95 years old and he used to say, young Deacon, keep on coming. It gets gooder and gooder. Thank you.
Oh boy. Put the past on me. So he put the past on me. Boy, I tell you. Listen, there are some wonderful things that's going on in the Pontiac district, and we're going to continue to tell our story and then we're going to increase it to telling it at a very high level. I try to be as fair and open as possible to recommendations, things that come to the board, people who want to do things with the district. And over the past 3 years, I've been pretty much saying the same thing over and over again. Like, our kids deserve to have the best. Our kids, our Pontiac School District kids, and I'm not isolating any other kid that goes to any other schools in this city, but I'm the chair and I sit on the board and got elected for the Pontiac School District. And I'm no longer going to sit here and have conversations, or not just here, but when people say, well, you got to love all our kids, I do. But I got elected to represent the ones that go to Pontiac School District. So for the 3,800 kids that's in the Pontiac School District, that's who I'm here to represent. And they will get the first opportunity for anything that benefits them first. If you want to do partnerships, as far as I'm concerned, with the Pontiac School District. I'm not saying that you can't partner or we can't partner with people and things of that nature, but I'm very much aware of what people try to do and how they try to manipulate the system to manipulate us into thinking that they're here for our students and our kids, and then they make it about themselves. And so I've kind of adopted in my political life what I've always adopted in my professional life. And now I'm just going to put it all on the table. So I myself, a lot of times take a lot of the criticism, the things that kind of come with being a leader. And we all do in our own individual right? We do. You're not going to disrespect my superintendent. You're not going to disrespect the administration. You're not going to disrespect anybody that wears the purple and black that receives a paycheck from the Pontiac School District. You're just not going to do it. And I am no longer going to sit back and just go with the whole political game, right? I'm up for election, right? We're three of us are up for election. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this real plain and clear. Okay. This is not about politics and about having my seat. Either you're going to vote me to do a job or you're not, but I'm still going to be able to represent kids in the capacity that I do it in a very professional manner, no matter if it's about having an election or not. But the people trust me, so I'm going to get reelected. The people trust who they set here. They're going to get reelected. You can put whatever you want to up front to it, however you want it to be. But I just want to be very clear. We're not playing any political games, and I'm not about to be the one that's going to sit back and say, okay, it's okay to do so. So if we can work something out as it relates to usage of our buildings, but our buildings will be done for our students. If we can't work your manager into your program and what you have do, what you want to do with us, and I'll just make this real clear, lack of planning on your part doesn't make it an emergency on mine. So I just wanted to make it clear on TV, because everybody like to watch it and tune in. And when we had these conversations, nobody get to see who's saying what. So I'm saying it. Nobody's a bigger Pontiac advocate ambassador than me. I put everything on that. But we're not about to rush into something because it's an emergency on your part and you want to just do what you want to do. So we get plenty of offers every single week, every single month. I got this program, I got that program, we got this, we got this, we got that, we got this. If it's not benefiting our students first, I won't vote for it. I'll find a way to help you, but I'm not making it a rush or anything on this administration. And you can write whatever letter or email you want to. And then I'll see you at the polls. So, need a motion on the floor because Ms. Wright is not going to let that buzzer get me this week. Need a motion on the floor to adjourn. Moved by Trustee Gross, supported by Trustee Hannah.
That's correct.
Support?
Yeah, it's Trustee.
Okay.
Yep.
Trustee Hannah.
I think it was Davis, but.
Oh,
it was Davis?
soft votes.
Okay, supported by Trustee Davis. You know what? You've been a real, you know what? Okay. Questions, comments, or concerns to the motion? Hearing none?
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Roll call.
My man, Treasurer David Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Hannah.
Yes.
Trustee Terry.
Yes.
And Trustee Kraft.
No.
What?
Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who else?
Just made it.
You just
But
made
I
it?
believe
1,
it.
2, 3,
No.
4.
We ain't gonna talk about vote.
It's passed
Hey,
4-1.
All right, awesome. Thank you. He voted no. Hey, listen, at home, have a great summer.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
5-1.
Still follow the social media page.
5-1.
Still stay tuned to what we're doing. Follow, like, and share this page. We're going to have some great events that we're going to be attending. You're going to be able to see some great things coming out of the district. We're going to be doing some interviews. We got some podcasting coming up. We got some shows coming up. We have some highlights coming up. And thank you, Joe Longhammer of Ford, for your partnership and what you do in the district and continuously to do so. Love you. Peace. There's nothing you can do about it. Good night.
Yeah. All right.